Welcome back grade 8. So for today, we will be discussing collection and organization of data. In today's lesson, you should be able to correctly organize data using frequency distribution table. But before we proceed with the organization of data, let's discuss first what is a variable. Variable are the characteristics that may vary over time from subject to subject. In other words, these are the factors that we observe when conducting a research. Our variable depends on what we call experimental unit. Experimental unit is the subject on which a variable is being measured. It can be a person, animal, or object. In other words, experimental unit is the subject per se. There are two types of variable. The first one is the qualitative variable. This is a type of variable that focuses on the quality or characteristics of each experimental unit, while the other one is called quantitative variable. It measures a numerical quantity on each experimental unit. To fully understand this concept, let's identify whether the following examples are qualitative or quantitative variable. First one is hair color. We cannot represent color by numbers, therefore, it is automatically under qualitative variable. Next one is marital status. Marital status can be categorized as single, married, or widow, or the like. So therefore, there is no number on the particular example. It is under qualitative variable. Next, height and weight. Height and weight is under quantitative variable because we usually represent height and weight using numbers. Example for the weight, 56 kilograms. Example for the height, 153 centimeters. Those are all under quantitative variable. There are two types of quantitative variable. The first one is discrete variable. It is a type of quantitative variable that can only be assumed on a countable number or whole numbers of values, while the other one, which is the continuous variable, is a type of quantitative variable that can assume more than just countable numbers. To make it clear, let's identify which of the following examples are discrete or continuous. First one is speed. Speed is under continuous variable because it may change from time to time. Another is temperature. It may change from time to time. It can be a rainy season, it can be a sunny day, therefore the temperature changes and it is under continuous variable. Our third example is SSI graduates. Graduates is under discrete variable because we can count the graduates in a particular batch. Lastly are the books in the library. Books in the library are discrete variables because we can count the books in the library using whole numbers. Let's proceed now with the organization of data. The very most important concept here is the frequency distribution table. This table is a statistical table that deals with the frequency or numbers of occurrences of a given variable for a certain experimental unit. To fully understand how to construct a frequency distribution table, let's create one. On the left side of the screen, we have the ungrouped data of fruits. Now, let's create a frequency distribution table. The first thing that we need to do is to create a 4-column table. On the first column, the heading would be named as category, the second will be named as frequency, the third one will be named as relative frequency, and the last column will be named as percentage. In the column of category, we will just write down all the names of the fruits that we can see. We have bananas, we have grapes, We also have apple and mangoes. That's all for the column of category. On the column of frequency, we will just count the occurrences of the category on the ungrouped data. For example, how many times does banana occurs in our ungrouped data? So, to fill up this column, we will just count. For banana, it has 1, 2, 2 frequency. For the grapes, we have 1, 2, 3, 3 frequency or occurrences. For the apple, we have 1, 2, and 3, 3 occurrences. And lastly, for mangoes, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have 4 mangoes. Our next step on the second column is to sum up our frequency. To sum it up, just add all the data. 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 is 12. 12 is the total number of frequency. Let's proceed now in the relative frequency. To get the relative frequency, just divide the number of frequency in each category to the total number of frequency. In this given example, for the category of banana, we have 2 occurrences divided by the total number of frequency, which is 12, and that is 0.17. Continue this process until you reach the end category. So 3 divided by 12 is equal to 0.25. 3 divided by 12 is the same, 0.25. 4 divided by 12 is equal to 0.33. To check whether if the values you obtain is correct, just add all the data on the relative frequency and it should be equal to 1.00. 0.17 plus 0.25 plus 0.25 plus 0.33 is equal to 1.00. Now, to get the person's age, just multiply the relative frequency to 100. 0.17 times 100 is equal to 17%. 0.25 times 100 is equal to 25%. Continue this process until you reach the end category. Lastly, to check whether your percentage is correct, get the sum of all the percentage and it should be equal to 100%. Now it's your turn. Pause the video for a while and create a frequency distribution table using these pictures. Here is the answer from the previous activity. Do not forget to access the Quiper question for a short assessment. Thank you and God bless.